Can the king refuse to appoint a prime minister chosen by the MPs? The answer is no. His Majesty the King cannot ignore, delay or refuse the appointment of a prime minister if the candidate has the support of the majority of the MPs in the House of Representatives. My name is GK Ganesan and this is GK TV. Today's topic is, can the king refuse to appoint a PM chosen by the MP? I said the answer is no. Why is this so? This is because of several reasons. First, let us deal with our constitution. Article 40 clause 2 states the king may act in his discretion in the performance of the following functions. Paragraph A, the appointment of a prime minister. The word may means the king can say either yes or no. This gives everyone the impression, some jurists argue, that the king can reject the appointment of a properly qualified candidate. Is this true? The answer is no. Why? Well, there's no such thing as a discretion of the king as far as this particular part of the Constitution is concerned. Any discretion that Article 40, Clause 2 appears to grant to the king is cut down by a specific clause. And that is a clause that deals with the appointment of the Prime Minister, and it's in Article 43, Clause 2, Paragraph A, which states that the King shall appoint a cabinet of ministers to advise him in the exercise of his functions. Clause 2 says, the cabinet shall be appointed as follows, that is to say, the King shall first appoint as Prime Minister a member of the House of Representatives who, in his judgment, is likely to command the confidence of a majority of the members of that house. The federal constitution therefore makes the king's duty compulsory. The constitutionally correct position is there is no such discretion. This is because the imperative word shall occurs twice in the appointment clause in Article 43, Clause 2, Paragraph A. The operative part of Article 43 says the king shall first appoint as Prime Minister such a candidate. So any contrary discretion given to the king in Article 40, Clause 2 is cancelled out by Article 43, Clause 2. Next, Malaysia follows the UK Westminster system. In the UK, the monarch does not interfere in the constitutional process of appointing as Prime Minister a candidate who has the majority support of the members of the UK House of Commons. Third, the 1689 UK Bill of Rights granted the UK House of Commons the right and the power to rule the nation. So the nation is to be ruled by the commoners, meaning the people or the Rakyat, and not a monarch, hence the House of Commons, and in Malaysia, the House of Representatives. Then, 2 decades later, by the 1700 UK Act of Settlement, that law became entrenched as part of UK jurisprudence and law. That law was afterwards confirmed by several acts of the UK Parliament, and again, over time, embedded by parliamentary conventions. You can see this description in the book called Parliamentary Practice by Erskine May, 24th edition at page 3. Fourth, that became part of our law when our constitution was framed. And our constitution is the supreme law of the Federation, and so says Article 4. Again, many aspects of UK law and parliamentary conventions were later confirmed by the Malaysian constitution. The constitution makes the monarch and the royal houses subject to the federal constitution, and for example, you can see that the king is in fact paid out of the public purse, and we can see an example of that in Article 35. Next, we come to parliamentary conventions, which are long established customs and which form part of our law and became part of our legal structure, and for all intents and purposes are as good as law. And therefore, any discretion granted to the king in the appointment or indeed the removal of the Prime Minister or the appointment or the removal of the cabinet, mind you, is non-existent. There's no such discretion. The king cannot say no. So gathering all the strands of these legal reasonings together, one can conclude that the king cannot refuse to appoint or delay the appointment or decline to grant an audience for appointing a properly qualified candidate as Prime Minister, if that candidate enjoys the support of the majority of the MPs of the Dewan Rakyat. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please share it widely, press like, ring that bell, And if you haven't done so already, do please subscribe. And please also go over to my website, Paradox, to read a text version of this video. You can find that in www.gkg.legal. I'll see you again with another exciting episode on GK TV. Goodbye.